Welcome back, everybody, and today we are in the 2019 Range Rover Sport HSE Dynamic, brought to us by First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. So this is a second generation Range Rover Sport, and if you don't know how the Land Rover lineup works, basically this is the step below the full-size Range Rover. This is of course called the Range Rover Sport. Powering this Range Rover Sport is a 3-liter supercharged V6 making 340 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque. Side profile on this thing looks pretty good. We have these 21-inch rims, red painted brake calipers. Apologies for these sirens, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. Rear end looks pretty good. We have LED taillights, dual exhaust tips here, and then if you open the trunk automatically on your key fob or the button here, we have tons of room. We do have seats that fold down, some bag tethers for your groceries, tons of room back here, and a very low loading height, which also can be further lowered by these two buttons here. One raises, one lowers, you know the drill. So the first international listing price on this Range Rover Sport with 85K miles is $29,500. MSRP on this thing is roughly around $83,000 with select options. And oh my gosh, does it look good. Has quite the presence on the road as well. Sitting behind myself, I have about 3 inches of legroom, about 3.5 inches of headroom, but that also varies because we have this large panoramic sunroof. We have dual zone climate control in the front, but we also have dual zone climate control in the back. I guess you'd call that quad zone. We have some charging down here, ability to control our ventilation and whatnot from here, as well as if you push this HVAC button and then twist it to the right, you get heated seats back here as well. So the significant part about a 2019 Range Rover Sport is actually that we have wired Apple CarPlay. I hooked it up earlier and it shows here on your navigation screen. Down here is your HVAC controls, seat controls for your heat and ventilation. You of course have AC, different buttons there, and then under vehicle you have your drive modes, and then settings, you have things that you display, and of course your climate. We also have integrated settings into our gauge cluster, which is fully digital. So with an $83,000 MSRP, these things are quite loaded. We have air suspension here, which you can actually control the ride height from this button down here. We have adaptive cruise control. We have these nice paddle shifters on our wheel. And my personal favorite thing about this Range Rover Sport is we have a Meridian speaker system, which absolutely rocks. So as I mentioned before, the sticker price under $30,000 and an MSRP of above $80,000, you're like, wow, there's a lot of depreciation in these Range Rovers. And that's mostly due because of maintenance concerns. And these things have quite a bit. With air suspension, that having problems, and according to Edmunds, you have about $4,000 average per year in unscheduled maintenance costs, which that's basically saying that things break, right? And things are going to break a lot in these Range Rovers. This one we have here today has 85,000 miles on it, and frankly, I haven't really found anything wrong with it. I mean, it drives super smooth. The 8-speed automatic shifts very nicely, and the supercharged V6 hasn't lost a step, but you know, these things just over time have lots and lots of maintenance issues, and if you're unable to fix those yourself, you might be in for some trouble. Above 5,000 RPM, you really hear that supercharger whine, and that's probably one of my favorite things about this car. What's nice about dynamic mode is you actually turn off the auto start stop, which is good because I can't stand those things, especially when you're stopped at a red light. When it turns green, you basically have to start your car every time. It's just kind of weird. Zero to 60 for this Range Rover Sport is quoted at 6.3 seconds. That's pretty quick, especially for a vehicle this size. And we have towing capacity of 7,700 pounds, which is quite a bit. I will say, I don't think I've ever seen a Range Rover with a towing setup on it, so I don't think people actually use these for that, but they do advertise a pretty capable towing rate. The paddle shifters are quite responsive, but I think I honestly would drive this thing in automatic mode most of the time. The transmission tuning works really well. It shifts when it's supposed to shift and has a little bit different change of characteristic in terms of when you change from dynamic to comfort. Dynamic will wait a little longer for those shifts, and they feel a little more snappy too. The steering really doesn't change at all, and honestly it's quite heavy. I expected to get in this Range Rover Sport and have light as a feather steering, but that wasn't the case. This thing is actually quite hard to steer, and if you're moving around a parking lot, they're a little hard to navigate, and I would be really worried about someone scratching up these 21-inch rims, especially with those curbs that seem to be hidden, especially for someone I know. But yeah, just put this thing in dynamic, let it work its magic, and I mean, I can't even rev out this gear before it's just going way too fast on this public road. It's just so surprising how much speed these things have, especially with their size. So let's take a minute to go over the steering wheel controls. So on the left-hand side, we have the ability to change our volume, and in that same breath, we also have the cruise control distance rating for the adaptive cruise. And then just to the right of that, we have skip track. And then this menu allows you to control various settings inside your gauge cluster. You can also pull up information menus such as your current tire pressure, which I find very helpful. Whenever a vehicle shows a low pressure sensor going off, I always am like, okay, well, can I see what the current pressure is? Because I always worry that, it's a flat just before, you're gonna really not be able to drive it. And it's always great to be able to see what the pressure's at so you don't have to be worrying, and you can feel comfortably driving to the nearest gas station and filling up the air. And so just below all that is the call button. We also have voice commands in here, and this button is a programmable button, which actually is a shortcut to the radio, which I just found out, and I had to cut that part out because I can't play music here on YouTube. And then on the right hand side, we have our cruise control main settings. We also have our heated steering wheel, because yes, we have heated steering wheel in this Range Rover Sport. We also have heated front and rear seats, as well as cooled front seats. And I'll tell you, on a nice cold day like we have up here in New England, the heat on my back and on my hands feels great. So both the full-size Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport are known for their air suspension. Not just because it breaks occasionally, but because it also provides you a very comfortable ride. And this is no short of that. This air suspension just absorbs all sorts of bumps and small road imperfections too. I mean, this thing just rides so smooth. As far as sound deadening, I'd expect it to be a little more quiet in here. I just maybe think that the window seals maybe could be a little stronger. Or I know in the full-size Range Rovers, they also sometimes do like a double panning of the glass here on the sides, and that provides a little more bit of a quiet interior. And although we have a lot of screens in here, we still have a lot of physical buttons, which I really appreciate. I think they did a nice job at placing all sorts of controls for you. You definitely have to take a few days to learn the car, especially with the menus in here, along with your infotainment screen. But with Apple CarPlay, that's going to feel familiar in whatever car you own, which is great. And then the one thing I don't like is they put the window controls up here. And I know that's to save space down here by your legs. And in a car this size, you really don't have the ability to kind of stretch out on long road trips like you'd expect. I mean, this thing compared to my Mustang Mach-E, it just has a lot less interior space, which I'm surprised because it's a much bigger vehicle. So I think if you're looking for a Range Rover and you have a larger family, even if it's just 4 or 5 people, but you guys all have like larger frames or you're taller, I'd say if you're over 6 foot, and most of your other family members are too, definitely go for the full-size Range Rover if you can swing the extra cost. Of course, on the pre-owned market, those are fairly inexpensive too. You'd still definitely have to deal with lots of maintenance costs. And I mean, these things really, you got to make sure that you maintain them well. But I mean, if you do they seem to stay on the road for quite a while. I mean, I still see very old ones. All right, so we're approach this road at 20 miles an hour. Slow down a little bit here. Just eats up those harsh bumps quite well. I'm genuinely surprised at how good this thing handles and how well it absorbs the harsher bumps. I mean, I'd expect the full-size Range Rover to do so, but, you know, the Range Rover Sport is no slouch either. All right, well, we're stopped here. We can throw it in reverse. Pretty decent backup camera. We don't have a 360 view, which in a Range Rover Sport for $83,000, that is a little bit of a disappointment. But our mirrors do bend down to provide you a view of your rims, which is very important with these 21-inch rims to protect you from curbing them. As far as this powertrain goes, the supercharged V6 is quick. I will say that. 0 to 60 does come pretty quickly, and I mean, this thing has torque all over the power band. But I think if I were to get one of these and I wanted to do some more like fast highway driving and kind of just enjoy it for that reason, I would get the SVR. You could probably swing one for another like 10 grand for similar miles, and that would get you a, you know, supercharged V8, which those things sound gnarly too. I mean, they have a lot more theater in them than these V6s do, that's for sure. So with that being said, I did enjoy my time in this Range Rover Sport. It's definitely opened my eyes to why people buy these and why they maintain them after, you know, 85, 100,000 miles, even as those maintenance costs continue to soar. I understand why they do, because they're lovely to drive. They have nice interiors, tons of options, and with this 2019 one, you also have Apple CarPlay. I do feel like they could be a little more comfy and roomy in the back seats than it is, especially for a vehicle this size, but you also get tons of capacity in that trunk, as well as a towing capacity of 7,700 pounds, so this really could be your all-around camping vehicle. You could hook up a pop-up camper to this thing, no problem, go up north to the White Mountains, where I live up in here in New Hampshire, and I think that would be a good time. Thank you again to First International Auto Group for lending me this car, and thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.